Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good morning, Shoreview. Good morning, White Bear Lake. Good morning, Stillwater. All in that area right there. And good morning to you. Welcome to the Jason Show. I'm Jace. Please say hello to my sidekick sister from another mister and Wet n Wild's Employee of the Month, KENDALL Mark.
Hello. I like how you did the 694 Highway 61, Highway 36 section of the Twin Cities. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. We don't say a lot of their towns, and my buddy Alexis from the radio show lives in Shoreview.
Oh.
I love Stillwater. So
White Bear Lake's great.
I'm sorry?
The White Bear Lake.
The White Bear, the WBL. I love Nacho Mamas, you know, in the WBL, or in Stillwater. I love that nacho place.
What is this?
I've mentioned it before on the show.
Yeah?
Nacho Mamas is right there in the main drag of Stillwater. And they do what everybody that serves nachos should do.
They serve margaritas?
Well, no.
Oh. Sorry.
Thank you, Eric. Right before the show, I said, I'm in such a good mood. Nothing's going to get me down. Nothing.
Until?
A comet could fall down and I would be like, hello. Anyway, no. They layer the crap. Layer that crap.
Yes, no. Scoop.
I've been saying it for 7 years on this show. If you're going to serve nachos to the American public, don't just put the crap on top. Layer it. Because if you don't, at the bottom, we just get normal chips. I can get normal chips at Cub.
Right, right.
We go from snack foods to special guests. It's a great transition for my buddy over there. We are very excited. Listen to this. Other than my high school friends that were here a week ago, but they don't count their family, you know? We haven't had a human being in this studio that doesn't get a check from Rupert Murdoch in 2 years. And I'm not even sure these people get a check from Rupert Murdoch.
I don't know either.
Do you get one?
I think he doesn't sign it, I don't think.
But we have special guests in the studio today, and I couldn't be more happy. Please welcome our very first JVIP Grand Prize winner of the month, Joel from Big Lake. There he is, sitting in his very fancy VIP area. Joel, do you feel fancy?
I feel very fancy.
Now, Joel, you have a mug there, too. Smell that. Make sure that's not vodka or gin. I want to make sure the staff, is it? What is it, Joel? Is it vodka, Joel?
I can't tell you.
Don't tell me. His lovely wife, Melissa, is over there. And this is how you can immediately get us to love you. You bring gifts. Right there. Melissa made homemade spaghetti sauce for us, Kendall.
From their garden.
From her garden. I love pasta, and my Aunt Pat, hi Aunt Pat, it's her birthday today, my godmother. I love you, Aunt Pat. She makes great sauce as well. My mother makes great spaghetti sauce. But look at this from Melissa. How nice is that?
I mean, that was like she just whipped it out of her purse, so Minnesotan, and it made me so happy on the inside.
I know. I went over to her, I go, hello. She says, I have a gift for you. Well, you can stay.
Welcome to the show.
We were thinking about asking her to leave, but I mean, now she can stay.
Forever.
We're gonna have fun. Joel, where are you from again, my friend?
Big Lake.
Big Lake. How long of a drive is that?
It was about 50 minutes.
50? Oh, not bad. Okay.
Did you take Highway 10?
Yes.
Okay. Traffic. Joel, you don't have to answer traffic questions from traffic.
10 to 101 to 94.
Okay. Thank you, Joel. That's enough, Joel.
I told you. That's what he took.
Joel's giving us his atlas of how we got here.
And
See what you started? See what you started, Kendall?
Yeah.
Anyway, Joel's going to be with us the whole hour. We're going to announce, I think, another VIP a little bit later. I mean, look, we have fancy furniture. Feels so good to be back. It is. It really does feel, and I can't wait, and I don't want to give anything away, but I think Kim Jong-un, our leader, I think she is working, I would bet $2 and a horse that we'll have our studio audience back within 2 months.
A racing horse, a miniature pony horse?
A full horse. I would bet a horse that we'll have our audience back sooner rather than later. Thank you. Abraham, thank you for the applause there. Let's get started. Leo, rolling. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. I'm going to eat with my hands today. I forgot to get a spoon. I was so excited about Melissa and Joel being here, I forgot to grab my spoon. Doesn't matter. Hey, this is. I don't want to bum you out. It's like a sad story out of the UK. So here's the deal: a landmark that was used in a lot of shows, Peaky Blinders, one of them, and Downton Abbey, went up in flames. Come back to the TV. Look at this. That's not just a small. Look at that, everyone. Dalton Mills is what it's called in West Yorkshire. Became just a ball of flames yesterday afternoon. More than 100 firefighters tried to fight it. The mill employed up to 2,000 people in the late 1800s. That number went down over the next century until it was shut down in the 80s. About 10 years ago, they sold it, renovated it into a TV and movie studio, and was featured in Downton Abbey and, like I said, Peaky Blinders. And they estimate, I mean, there was some like vintage furniture in there, wardrobes that, you know, pieces of clothing that you cannot really replace. My point is a lot of replaceables, a lot of pieces of history in that.
Right. Yeah. And I was kind of trying to figure out, because when it's up in flames, it's hard to tell exactly what it was. But if I love Peaky Blinders, and I was looking through, it's sort of where their old hangout main area was the first few seasons, the streets that they ruled, that was all shot around that building. So
can you give the audience and me, what is Peaky Blinders about? Give me the elevator pitch. Okay. Ready, go.
Okay, so it's the early 1900s in London, well, London area scene. They actually come in from a different city. They're gangsters, and they want to take over in the first season the books and horse racing.
Okay.
Then they do that, and then
do you think I like
other ventures, and they move on to the Italians, and it's so good. Yes, and it's so, oh my gosh, they're so hot, all the guys. And they have these accents.
Joel, do you think you would like? Do you watch the Peaky Blinders?
I have not, but it's on my list now.
Okay.
It is. It's really good.
Kendall, you sold Joel on it.
It is really good if you want to check it out.
Okay, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I feel bad for the crews and stuff. Next in the dish, from the creators of Love is Blind, Netflix has a new show coming that brings couples together who are at a crossroads, Kendall. They're at a crossroads. One person wants to get married, the other is dragging their feet. Get ready, because here is a clip from The Ultimatum.
The only thing scarier than losing you right now would be to marry you.
You're here because someone in your relationship has issued an ultimatum.
I want a ring on this finger.
One partner is ready to get married, and the other isn't sure.
I'm not ready to propose.
Take a good look around at each other.
You're gonna find out if there are people here
who might be a better fit. At the end of the week, you'll each choose a new partner.
You'll move in together for 3 weeks. At the end of this experience,
you guys will have to choose to marry the person you've arrived here with, or to split forever.
There is someone for everyone, and I think that a lot of people would be happy to be with me.
Okay. A couple things. First, producer Ted and I were discussing this before the show. Why does Netflix have the Lachey's hosting every love show?
Oh, this is a solid question.
That's question number one. Kendall, would you like to Christian ponder that for a second?
Yeah, I'll think about that one.
Why? There are no other hosts available?
Because their love is so real.
Okay. Number two, they keep swapping people. That's disgusting. Because you know if they're living together, they're going to make the whoopee.
What's that?
Well, they used to say that in the 60s on the Newlywed Game.
Okay.
Because you weren't allowed on television back then. You couldn't show toilets. You couldn't even talk really about sex. The password the password is whoopee. You couldn't, so they used to call it whoopee, making whoopee. So you know that if they're, right, Ted? They're switching every 3 weeks. Is that what it was, Ted? For 3 weeks, they switch.
Okay, and you're debating getting married or not?
That's disgusting. Yeah, because you keep.
What?
Yeah, that's like a assembly line of herpes.
I mean, that's a visual.
Rolling down, just disgusting. I wouldn't marry any of them after that.
Right?
Or I would literally dunk them. Maybe the finale, they dunk them in like Lysol, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It drops in April. It's called The Ultimatum. Okay, next in the dish. I love Charles Barkley. I do. I emailed this story to Ted, and in the subject line I put, I know this is a sports story, but Jason loves Charles Barkley. Here we go. the Hall of Famer and TNT commentator, is refusing to mention the LA Lakers by name, even when he's supposed to be talking about the LA Lakers. Look at this.
Chuck, who's playing in this game? The Clippers and?
Clippers and the team from Southern California.
Oh, you won't say that name? You still not saying the Lakers?
I'm not talking about.
Is there a point at which you said, okay, I'm going to say their name?
If they win a playoff game.
So you're not going to say the word Lakers for the rest of the
season. I'm not talking about these losers. Between us, between the nitwits of TNT and the nitwits with ESPN, we talk about these losers more than any people in the world.
I would say we talked about them a lot, though.
I love, he's calling out his own network. He's calling out himself. Nitwits over at ESPN, the nitwits over here at TNT. He's not going to say the Lakers until they win. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, no, he's been poking at that bear all season. Well, because they made a huge deal about it in the offseason. They signed on all these former stars. Well, and okay, former is a hard word, but like they have Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Davis. They've got LeBron, and LeBron's the only one who's actually doing anything. So we're ahead of them right now.
What?
Yeah, in the West, I think we're 7th. I want to say they're in 10th place.
Yeah, because the Lakers are in 10th. That's what the teleprompter's telling me. And if the
yes, it is.
Joel, I don't know about sports. The Lakers. Do you know about sports, Joel?
No.
Oh, that's why you're sitting there. That's why I love Joel. The Lakers are in 10th place, and if the season were to end today, they wouldn't be in the playoffs. To quote Charles Barkley, that's just terrible. It's just terrible. We're going to take a break. We have much more right after this. Back in a moment.
Coming up next, calling all Gen Xers, this bud's for you. The new kids on the block are back with a new video that's, well, the right stuff.
Come on in.
Then, Mina from Good Bones on HGTV is our special guest today. What's hot in the world of design and what's happening at the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show? We can't wait to talk to her live in studio. And Rolling Stone is out with their list of the best movies of the 80s. And as you can imagine, I'm not happy about it. That and more when we come back.
Welcome back. Kendall is fixing my tie there. Thank you. Just to give all of you at home a status update, because sadly you're not here to visit me and Kendall, but we're 15 minutes into the show, and photographer Eric is already passing out mixed nuts to our guests.
Seriously, take the camera.
I mean, yeah, they can. Yeah, Joel has one of Eric's walnuts that he uses to feed the squirrels at Ted's house.
We have so many here.
I love our crew so much. Welcome back. Jamie Dornan. You like the Jamie Dornan? I know. He's just a good-looking human. He was on Jimmy Kimmel last night. He's the guy from 50 Shades of Grey, and also, okay, Kendall, and is also in an Oscar-nominated movie, Belfast. He's in that one. So here, are you ready? He talked about his favorite snack from Ireland, more like a sandwich, and that is our late night rewind.
This makes me very happy. I will say.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Like when there's food around. I'm a little hungry too.
Can I sit up here? Okay. So this is what I'll say. What we're making here is called a tato smashy. So this is what you do. Ideally, you find the cheapest white bread you can find.
Okay.
There used to be a bread back home called Mighty White, which was like
Wonder Bread kind of thing?
Sugary death. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Anyway, you go heavy on the mayo, both sides.
Oh, two sides of the mayo.
So you don't muck around with light mayonnaise either. You do the real stuff.
That's regular ham?
Okay, that's regular ham.
Mm-hmm.
I actually find the cheaper ham the better.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes from the same animal.
Okay.
You go quite heavy on there, right? You get like 5 or 6 slices. You get potato, cheese, and onion, which are a company. There's in the north of Ireland, where I'm from. Their cheese and onion are the best crisp they do. You put the entire packet on there. This is small bread, I'm gonna say, and this is maybe the most exciting thing that'll happen in your day, your year, your life. is the crunch. Is why it's called potato smashy. You go this and go.
Ooh, that's got a nice sound.
There we go. You guys want to take a...
Here, let me carve that up.
You don't cut it. You don't cut it.
Yeah. I approve this because I did not eat potato chips on sandwiches until I married into my husband's family. Colin puts like Ruffles or like free on a sandwich for the crunch, for the texture.
Stop it.
No.
That's what lettuce and pickles are for. And onions.
Eric, can we get a shot here? Can I tell you, there's like 14 people in the studio today, and they couldn't care less normally about what I talk about. But you put food on the monitor, look how closely they're all paying attention. They're all, look at that. They are all looking up like there's $1 million up there. Mm-hmm. That was just seconds ago. They couldn't tear their eyes off the monitor. But when we're talking, Brad falls asleep, for heaven's sake.
What kind of chips were those, Dolores?
Yeah, no, exactly. You know, on Mondays we get a special serving of hot dish all the way from Hollywood. Please give it up for Jacob from TMZ. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Jason.
Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday.
So, okay, so all these rich people have their creepy rockets, and now there's another celebrity heading to space soon. Who?
It's Pete Davidson. Who else could it be? He's like the biggest thing in Hollywood right now. And yes, as you mentioned, I mean, you have the space race going on between Elon Musk, Richard Branson, and Jeff Bezos. And it seems like Pete Davidson is teaming up with Bezos and is going to be riding on his Blue Origin rocket ship. And, you know, for those who didn't know, it's been a lifelong dream of Pete to go into space. And it sounds like the deal is nearly done. They're just hashing things out right now, but a deal should be done imminently. And just a few months ago, we saw Pete Davidson and Kim K going to lunch with Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, and we're told at that meal they discussed Pete going to space. So this has been in the works for a while. And as you mentioned, we've already seen William Shatner and Michael Strahan going to space. So add Pete to the list of celebrities.
Okay. I have more to say about that in a second. Anyway,
yeah.
Meghan Markle. So we already there's already family drama with her dad. Now there's more ruffled feathers within that family. Who?
Oh yeah, well it's actually the dad's daughter, Samantha Markle, who is Meghan's half-sister. So this all stems from the famous Oprah Winfrey sit-down interview that Meghan did in March of 2021, which I'm sure a lot of you saw. And now Samantha is filing a defamation lawsuit at Meghan Markle, claiming that this whole narrative that Meghan was discussing on Oprah during the Oprah Winfrey interview about having this rags to riches lifestyle is completely misconstrued. And she's saying, she gave a couple of examples. I guess Meghan during the sit-down interview said that she paid for her own education. Samantha's saying that's not true at all. Thomas Markle paid for our education. Meghan also said she grew up an only child. Samantha's saying, no, you didn't. I'm your sister. So if for those who don't know, Samantha Markle has been critical of Meghan over the years, so I don't find this as that much of a surprise. Meghan's attorneys have already spoken out saying that this is a baseless lawsuit.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It's like, you know, it should be a great time for that couple, and they should be doing this offline. Finally, the Wheel of Fortune saga continues. So you guys spoke to the, not the main contestant, but one of the other contestants in that epic fail. What did he say?
Yeah, so I actually spoke with him. His name is Christopher Coleman, and he was one of the other contestants, as you can see right here, who appeared on that famous Wheel of Fortune episode where they were unable to solve the puzzle, another feather in your cap. And what Christopher told me, which I thought was really interesting, he said, you know, it's really easy for people to be on the sidelines, sitting at home on their couches and play along with Wheel of Fortune. But when you're on stage with the lights shining on you and going against the 5-second timer to give out a letter, it's a lot harder.
Yep.
And I guess as a result of this viral clip, he's been getting some backlash online, which is just undeserved. And Pat Sajak even came out and defended all the contestants too, saying, hey, this is a fun game and it's a lifelong dream for a lot of them, you know, leave them alone.
Yeah.
And Christopher basically said, you know, he claims he knew the answer, but is chalking it up to pressure and being on a time crunch. That's why he wasn't able to get it right.
It's understandable. Jacob, have a good weekend, my friend.
You too.
Thank you. More of these stories at TMZ.com. these billionaires. Now, I don't begrudge. I know people like to rip on them. Why aren't you doing this? I have always felt that people, and I mean this, no snark right here, I don't begrudge rich people for doing whatever they want with their money. They worked hard, they get to do. I don't like doing that. However, I would like these two yahoos with gazillions of dollars, maybe instead of sending up celebrities up in your wee-wee rocket that can afford to go up there anyway. Why don't they, they might get a little extra publicity and a little extra love and understanding from the public. Why don't you send up a wee-wee rocket full of people, full of teachers, science teachers that maybe got young women involved in science? Why don't you send science teachers, people that deserve it, that can't afford,
Right. It is just more rich people being richer. I thought maybe Kanye was sending them up in a rocket.
No. I kind of wish Kanye would go up into a rocket.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Thank God we put the credit card in the jar.
By the way, I did say his name. Don't write me. I put my credit card down here. It covers us the whole week while Jeff's gone.
Whole week.
Joel, would you go up in the rocket if it was free?
No.
Yeah, okay. Joel, yeah, I'm with you. Melissa, how about you? You yes, no? His wife would.
Really? You really wouldn't?
Let me just say, can you imagine Melissa getting on board? I brought everybody spaghetti sauce before our
I hope
trip.
it doesn't explode.
Yeah, before we take off, here's spaghetti sauce for you. And I love Melissa. Next in the dish, this next story, let me hide. No one's taking this. I don't want the crew stealing it.
No.
This next story speaks to those of us who love the 80s. The New Kids on the Block just dropped a new music video. So come back. If you're like my age, Kendall's like, who? So it features Salt and Peppa, In Vogue, and Rick Astley. And it spoofs other iconic videos. Look at this. Brilliant. Abraham, applause, please, because that's brilliant. No, seriously. Now, the youngins will get none of those references, but Vogue. I had one. That's the Vogue video they're spoofing right there.
Okay.
Come on, Vogue. It's so good. The New Kids on the Block, by the way, go on tour this summer. So for all of us in our 40s, we'll be there. It kicks off in May, and it comes to the Xcel Energy Center. If you could bottle the energy that emanates from that stadium of middle-aged men, gay men, and women, you could solve the energy crisis.
You really could.
You could.
That's a good song.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't really get any of the video references, but
all right,
the music was good.
Next in the dish, Louisa Jacobson. You're like, who? Meryl Streep's daughter from The Gilded Age. She's like the main young lead, was on Kimmel last night. Again, if you don't know her, she's Streep's daughter. And Jimmy asked her if Meryl does things, her mom, we know her as Meryl, but it's mom, that annoy her. Look.
Like when your mom's Meryl Streep, does she annoy you in the way other people's moms annoy them?
Of course.
She does.
Of course. Even today, she was like, all right, Pickle, is the car coming?
Oh, she calls you Pickle?
Yeah. She's like,
geez.
you have everything you need. Is someone coming to pick you up from the theater? Because I'm doing a play and I came here for... And I was like, yeah, Mom, I have it under control. She's like, okay, yeah, okay, enough from me. And she hung up. But no, she's really sweet. She also... this is a really embarrassing thing that she does.
Go ahead.
If she starts to speak to someone who has an accent, she'll just start doing the accent.
And she'll get an Oscar for it, usually, right?
Yeah.
Usually. That was her first ever talk show appearance, by the way.
Oh, she had to be so nervous.
Yeah, she worked in retail in her younger years. She worked in an ad agency. And her mom's Meryl Streep.
So cool.
I do that too. Don't we all kind of do that?
Oh, I totally do that. People are like, oh, I didn't know you're from the South. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, I know. An HGTV star and more when we come back. Back after this. Back in a moment. I'm not from the South, I swear. I'm from Indiana. Welcome back, everyone. Oh. Y'all are, I mean, believe me, we all love HGTV, so y'all are very excited about this, our first guest. She is an HGTV star, I'm not going to say regular star, and is in town for the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show. Before we introduce her, here's a little clip from her show, just in case you're the 4 people who have never seen it. Take a look at Good Bones.
Look what you brought me. This is Hoarder's Paradise. I'm gonna have so much fun in here. Oh, look at this hat with the feathers on it. I mean, that's fabulous.
It's fabulously upsetting.
What's upsetting about it?
I mean, someone might have peed in that hat.
Nope, no pee in this hat. So this would be the living room, and then this is the formal parlor where you have your second door. Oh my goodness. Look at this refrigerator.
Yeah, I'm looking at other things. Please welcome to the show the star of Good Bones. Mina's here, everybody. Hi, Mina.
Hi.
Okay, let me geek out for a second. The crew knows this, and that you were told. I'm from Indiana too.
Yes.
So were you born and raised in Indiana?
I was born and bred in Indiana, yes.
Where at?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
West
Okay.
side, yeah.
That's right. I'm from Michigan City.
Okay.
So basically Chicago.
Yes.
But I lived in Indianapolis for a couple years. I lived near Castleton Square Mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's a lovely area. It's where my
I
husband grew up.
I think back me up here. When people think of Indianapolis, I don't think they
cornfields.
They think of cornfields, and I always tell them it is a great convention city.
There's more than corn in Indiana.
There's more than corn in Indiana Beach. Okay, this whole segment could be about that.
Which is back up and running, apparently.
Is it?
That's what I was literally told like last week. I've never been, but someone said we didn't have a beach in Indiana. I was like, I think we have Indiana Beach.
Yeah, we have one beach in Indiana. We don't know how scary it is, but we have one beach.
But no, it's amazing. Like, it's one of the few cities. We live downtown and we can walk to the Colts game, to Pacers. Like, you can walk everywhere. Walk to the convention center.
Yeah, Lucas Oil, you guys have a great stadium too.
It's so good.
You have a great, and that area is, okay,
Yes.
We're done. We're done. We may do it later. I always like to know, because we have a lot of HGTV people here. The Foxes are from here, but I always like to know the origin story. How did it happen? Like, do you get an email? Does a producer come to you? Do you get a knock on the door?
I had a really, really poorly made Facebook page. Pictures with terrible lighting. It was really, I had my real estate license. I still have my real estate license, but it was more to post upcoming homes we had. We would do 1 or 2 a year. So other realtors knew what we had in the pipeline, and it had my home address and my cell phone number. And I got a call from a woman saying she was with a production company, and I thought she was a liar, and I thought she was trying to steal my social security number and all kinds of stuff. And it turns out that was not the case. It was a talent scout from High Noon, which is now owned by ITV. And I guess they stumbled upon the Facebook page and called the number on it and said, have you ever thought about making a TV show? And I was like, well, sure.
Had you thought about it though?
My family's the kind of family that people say to for any given thing, oh my God, you guys should have your own TV show. So the family side of it, but not necessarily, I guess the house side is kind of the family side too, but not in a way that would actually happen, just you guys are so crazy, you should have your own show kind of thing.
Y'all are crazy, get on TV.
Yes, exactly.
Who took longer to get used? Because there's one thing to do your career that you know how to do. It's in your wheelhouse.
Yes.
But there's another thing to do your career when there are cameras all up in your grill. Who took longer, you or your mom, to get used to that?
I think this is part of our dysfunction, because now we've done over 100 homes, so we've revealed homes with so many people, and the natural right thing to be is uncomfortable on camera.
Yeah.
And we never were, because I think our lives are just so crazy. So they did this test day where they were following us around with cameras, and there was some graffiti festival in Fountain Square, and I was like, why are we filming a graffiti festival? And at the end of the day, they're like, well, it was just so you guys could get used to the camera, but it was never really weird, because we're weird.
I had an ulterior motive for asking that, and it is because, and it's a compliment wrapped up in it, I can tell, because I always think the secret of doing any type of television is there's the ease, and they're comfortable, and you and your mom are very, very easy on camera.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like breathing, and
Yes.
you guys have it, and I wondered if.
Oh yeah, and I drag my poor husband, and every once in a while, he's on the show, and he's gotten more used to it, but still isn't his favorite thing, and he's like, what do I do with my hands? I don't know. Which again is normal.
Yeah, because you don't. I mean, especially for guys, that is a hard thing. I'm very.
But my kids,
Yeah.
they like see a camera and they're like, I want to be in the picture, because they've been like raised around all the cameras, so they're pretty used to it.
We're going to talk about the Home and Garden Show in the next segment, but real quick before we break here, when did you know in Indy? Because Indiana is very much like Minneapolis or Minnesota, where people don't get really overly excited about celebrities. Is it?
No,
They do not.
We're not LA, we're not New York.
No. When did you know in Indianapolis that you're like, oh, people are starting to recognize me?
My husband notices it more. He'll be like, coming in at 2 o'clock, because I'm just head in the sand. But I mean, in the last like 2 years, it's been more. It's not just like the standard 25 to 55 female audience. Like it's
everybody.
Yeah, which is so cool.
It's the magic of HGTV.
Yeah.
More with Mina when we come back. Back in a moment, everyone. Oh. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, we're having fun today. My whole family's excited because we literally put on Mina from Good Bones there. We put on HGTV for our dogs. Like when we leave, because we leave a TV on.
My dog watches TV.
I don't know what's funny about that, Eric.
It's real. Like my dog sits on the couch and watches TV.
Thank you.
Lion King rocked his world. When my son watched Lion King for 2 years, the house was not a pleasant place.
Our dogs, they love the HGTV. They love your show.
I'm glad.
Yeah, Dexter's, my one falls asleep sometimes, doesn't fall asleep during your show.
Lovely.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Home and Garden Show for a second. That's why Mina's here. What do you like to do with these shows? Like, what's the best? Is it the meeting of the fans that's just like a joy experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I started doing it and not as many people knew about the show or knew how we got started, like I would talk more about that and be more like educational tips. But honestly, people just want to ask questions. And so I love that part because I have very few boundaries, if any. So I really like—
Except puppets.
Except puppets and
Except
clowns.
puppets.
I don't like those.
Yeah.
I, like to do like a little intro in the beginning and be like, what do you guys want to talk about? Like ask questions, can ask about my husband, my kids, the show, like whatever.
What is asked most? What do you get asked like right around like this time period right now? What are you getting asked a lot about?
Where my mom is. And I'm like, she's retired, guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's wherever she wants to be.
She can be wherever she wants to. She's retired.
But that's probably the biggest question, yeah.
Yeah, because people are probably like, oh, is there drama? Is there drama? Yeah, and there's not.
Oh, God, there's always drama. She's my mom. I mean, for sure. But she is retired.
Yeah.
So she's, she was in California visiting my brother because he had his 4th baby. And then she was in Miami accidentally because she couldn't get to Canada. And now she's like, yeah. She's very
She accidentally couldn't get to Canada.
Something with her COVID test not coming in time, so she got stuck in Miami and then vacationed there. And I can't keep track.
Yeah. Nor should you. That's what that age is for. Run.
But on the show, I mean, we're pretty much the same human, so it's like you exist without her, and barely, but I do.
You can pick it up during the show, but I just thought of this, because all of the shows that feature a duo. What? In the totality of how many seasons now? 6?
We're almost on 7.
7. In the totality of all the seasons, what area of design or what area of the job do you two disagree about the most? Is it color of tile? Is it flooring?
Glass block.
What?
She would build a house out of glass block, and I hate glass block. She
really?
loves glass block. I don't know why, and I think at this point she just brings it up to like—
Just pee you off?
Yeah. Exactly. But when she says like, we could do this in glass block, I'm like, I'm not even talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna react to that. I'm not giving you satisfaction.
What would she say would be yours? What do you love that she just is like, okay?
Oh, white kitchens.
So you like white kitchens
I
still?
love a white kitchen.
I do too, still.
I think they're classic. I think they're timeless. And her kitchen is beautiful, but anything but. I mean, it's layers, and it's like an old IRT, like theater bar with like dark green granite and open shelving. And there's like a fishing pole on the wall, and yeah, mine is white.
Yeah.
With more white.
Which I don't think will ever really go out of style.
No.
It's just, what's a design trend that drives you crazy? That is just so annoying because maybe it's something that everyone's doing and you're like, okay.
I That's tough. I mean, like shiplap obviously was the big one, and I think a lot of people went like down the deep end with shiplap, and now it's like, okay, you're like using it sparingly. But we don't do a lot of trends unless they're very impermanent, like a wallpaper or because they're trends for a reason. So they go in and out.
Yeah, because shiplap is one of them for me.
I am enjoying the mixed metals.
Do you?
Yes. Done right.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it this week about like how do you know if you're doing it right or wrong? I was like, well, it's wrong if it's like, oh, I had this in my garage and found this at a secondhand store, and then I'm gonna put them all together in this bathroom because that's what I have. That's the wrong way.
Yeah.
But like the matte black and the matte golds go really well together, and it's just being, I think, purposeful about it. And you can do it.
I like the matte on the appliances. I'm digging that.
Yeah, yeah.
On some things, not every, but
they do like white appliances now.
They do?
They're not the old white appliances. We put a set in season 5 in a house that my friends bought, and I was like, I want this in my house.
Yeah.
Because it was like a matte white with brushed gold handle, and it was Wi-Fi enabled and smarter than I am. It was very, very cool set of appliances.
Well, it was so nice to meet you. Please, anytime you're here, fellow Hoosier, please come back and see us.
Of course, I will.
You can find her this weekend at the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show. Information is on their website. We're going to take a break. Rolling Stone has their list of the best movies of the 80s, and it's just a crappy list. So we're going to go off on that when we return. Back in a moment. It's horrible. It's horrible. Thank you.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
And welcome back. Hey, by the way, the boys of Yam House, we'll talk about this next week. You know what I'm going to say. They're on that new NBC songwriting show.
Yes.
We got to talk about that next week. And also, can we just acknowledge, I like to dish a little bit when the guests are gone. How lovely was she?
Just in personality and just physically, like
stunning
human.
Stunning. Yeah.
Really, in real life, you're like, wow, you're real and you're very, very pretty.
And it was one of those interviews where I totally forgot the camera. I forgot about all of you.
Hello.
No, I really did. I was I could have talked to her for 4 hours.
You can see why HGTV and all the production people behind it were immediately like, you're going to be great.
Yeah. It is Friday, and thank goodness, because I'm fired up this morning. I'm sorry, Kendall, is there something? I haven't been fired up at all week.
No.
This morning I'm fired up because of a new Rolling Stone article ranking 80s movies, and it's so far off. It's not even funny. Ted's even mad, and Ted was barely born. The magazine ranked the top 100 movies from the 1980s, and look, I get it. There were a lot of great movies during that decade, so there aren't really any right answers. But there are a lot of wrong answers, too. And this list has them all. Okay, first of all, one of the greatest movies of all time, and people always ask, it is my favorite movie of all time, E.T. That should be an easy top 10 or a top 5. What does Rolling Stone think? 27. Are you laughing at my pain?
No, I'm laughing at them. That's ridiculous.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm on your side.
That is horrible. 27?
Yeah, pretty ridiculous.
It is one of Spielberg's best. And that just proves these critics, these shishi poo-poo, fancy schmancy critics are so removed. Anyway. Okay, we'll quickly run down the top 10. 10, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, I'm with ya. 9, The Thin Blue Line. Swap that with E.T. 8 is Stranger Than Paradise. No. 7 is Blade Runner. Okay, I'm down with that. 6 is Showa. Good movie. Move that into the top 20. It's not number 6. And number 5 is this film from 1985.
あなたの風の中のひょうたん。あなたにひょりひょ。あなたにひょりひょ。ひょひょらひょひょ。ひょひょらひょひょ。ほんまるにひょうたん吊るして。面白いやろ。
Is he okay? Do I do something?
That's Ran. It's derived from Shakespeare's King Lear, and it won an Oscar for Best Costume Design, and it's all in Japanese. I love Japanese films. There's a lot of great. That's not a bad movie.
But what?
Top 10? No. Number 4 is this movie from 1986, starring Dennis Hopper, Kyle MacLachlan, Isabella Rossellini, and a very young Laura Dern. Look.
There are a couple of cases I get mixed up on. But one name that keeps coming up is this woman Singer. She lives in an apartment building that is real close to your house. It's also close to the field where you found the ear.
It's a strange world, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know where this woman's apartment building is?
Yeah, it's really close by. That's what's so creepy.
I have trouble arguing this one because this one had a profound impact on popular culture. It's from David Lynch. It's called Blue Velvet. It's a neo-noir mystery thriller. Critics would say yes. Personally, I don't enjoy it.
I have not heard of it, so
Yeah, you would hate it. Number 3 is a Martin Scorsese classic. Not arguing with this one. Starring Robert De Niro. Yes. Raging Bull. It follows a boxer whose self-destructive life ruins his relationship with his family. This came out in 1980 and was nominated for several Oscars, and it won 2. I'm not arguing with that one. That one can stay right where it is. It is a classic. Number 2 is a Canadian science fiction body horror.
Huh?
Body horror.
Oh.
Or Me in My 20s. That one stars James Woods. Body horror. Yeah. The 1983 cult classic Videodrome follows the CEO of a television station who specializes in sensationalist programming. He stumbles upon a show involving torture and believes it is the future of TV. Yes, another movie ahead of its time, but I don't know if it should be there. And finally, this brings us to number 1, a film many thought should have given Spike Lee his very first Oscar. What's number 1? This is number 1.
Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Up you wake, up you wake, up you wake, up you wake! This is Mr. Senior Love Daddy, your voice of choice, the world's only 12-hour strong man on the air.
Do the Right Thing. It's a comedy drama that tackles racial tension in a Brooklyn neighborhood. Absolutely in the top 10. I would even say top 5. I do not know if it's the number 1 movie of the 1980s. Top 5 without a doubt. It is Spike Lee's. It is a masterpiece.
Oh, I do love that movie. What is your number 1?
That's hard.
Would it be E.T.?
It might be E.T. Of the 80s. It might be, but there's so many great films. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll be right back. Back in a moment. Oh, Rolling Stone. Yeah. There's so many. I mean, Raiders is up there. I mean, Amadeus. Welcome back. We just realized Empire Strikes Back isn't in the top 20.
Nope.
None of the John Hughes movies were.
Nope.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. It's time for the world's shortest segment. Greetings. SNL is all new tomorrow. Here's a little teaser. Look.
Hi, I'm Oscar Isaac, and I'm hosting Saturday Night Live this week with musical guest Charlie XCX.
Hey, guys, we should probably practice our kissing scene.
We have a kissing scene?
We do? Well, we could.
I love A.D. Bryant, and I love Oscar Isaac.
So beautiful.
What's the surprise goodbye? It's Joel. We'll talk to him when we come back. Back in a moment. Surprise, it's Joel. Welcome back. Wrapping things up for today, for the week. And welcome back to Joel and Melissa. Guys, thank you so much. You guys couldn't have been nicer, and it's so good to see human beings in the studio again. So Joel, thank you for being here, my friend.
Oh, it's awesome. Bucket list checked off.
Oh, and look under your seat, Joel, really quick. Look under your seat. No, seriously, we got you. Now look, no, you have to get up, get all the way up.
Get up.
Look under there. Look under there. Look under your seat, Joel.
There's
a brand new car for you, Joel. Look at that.
Really
There's a brand new car. Okay, we're making the guest literally fall. There's a brand new car. Look at it, everybody. There's the brand new car. We'll see you on Monday, everybody.
Oh my gosh.